Hello everybody, this is Lissie. Dark Horse War. I've been having a couple technical difficulties, so I just decided that I was going to make a video and upload it to YouTube, and we can do the whole live cast thing some other time. So, the purpose of this video was just kind of to get, everybody's feels or whatever, let them ask me questions, answer some questions about Dark Horse before I go to Detroit. Things are really looking great. I talked to someone from Vice today about the project and about, everything that's going on. So I'm pretty optimistic. Little nervous, not gonna lie. I still don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get inside the convention. Things are kind of waffling back and forward. I still have my press still have press credentials. Don't really know what's going on with the pass or whatever at this point. Still talking to a few different people. I've had reporters and stuff give me questions. Once again, I apologize I can't do this live, but I think that's okay because I've got a lot of great questions here and we're going to answer them all. So let's get started. First question we had was from Duplicated Snowflake. They asked, do I feel the men's rights movement has any legitimate grievances? I do. I really do. Think prison reform being one of them, and I really don't think that they focus enough on that actually, because prison reform and doing things like preventing the prevalence of assaults inside prison, sexual or otherwise. I think we need a better education for prisoners, and I think men's rights movement should be focusing on that more. Another legitimate grievance I think they have is the one with false rape accusations, how they're handled, but that really goes kind of back into prison reform. I think for any crime, we need tougher controls to keep, and better laws that keep those who are accused of any crime, be it rape or even like domestic violence, give them, a better chance or maybe a longer period of time to keep their identity under control. I think a lot of that too has to do with how colleges are treating epidemic of assaults on campus. Certainly they need to start protecting and listening to their victims more. But I also think those who are accused maybe should be dealing with the court system more and less with school officials. And that's both for the victim and the perpetrator. We just need to start taking it more seriously. Schools aren't designed really to be court systems. I know under Title IX they have to treat all complaints equally, but right now how the men's rights movement is more approaching it is more like we need to protect the alleged assailants. They don't really say a lot about the victims, and I think that needs to be addressed too by the men's rights movement. Is why are they so focused on protecting the alleged assailants, but they're very quick to doubt the victims. I'm sure not all men or not all MRAs do that, but I think it's I think it's part of a wider pattern. The reason I say that is because just with doing Dark Horse, I have been accused and by people on YouTube via just messages I've gotten, or especially on Reddit, saying I'm going to go to the convention to just try to accuse everybody the entire convention, or just Paulie Lombardinez or whoever, and just he raped me, he raped me, just point a finger like I'm in the Crucible or something, and I'm that, and I don't know, maybe I'd have to be the girl in the Crucible and they can be the guy. I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. All I can remember is the movie right now, but I swear I'm not going there to do that. We got a little bit off track there, but yeah, I do think the men's rights movement has some legitimate grievances, and though I disagree with how they handle them, and certainly I think that they're going about it the wrong way. do think that the movement is rooted in some real problems in society. It's how they're approaching them that I think needs to change. So got some good questions here too from Wei. Wei was asking, what's a favorite thing to do when you are trying to destroy the patriarchy? Vaping's up there. I love vaping. Yeah, I do love vaping. I'd have to say my favorite flavor is jasmine. I also like reading Harry Potter. Um, let's see, dancing, writing. I guess it has a lot to do with destroying the patriarchy right now. I like doing a lot of things, watching movies with my boyfriend or my fiance, going out with my friends. Um, so yeah, I've always been against the men's right movement, or is there a particular thing that made me really dislike them? Um, well, this wasn't really a question, Way, but I guess I was raised with them, so I've always kind of, I guess, been not against them, but knew something was wrong. They didn't call it, when I was younger, the men's rights movement. It was the National Coalition for Free Men. Um, they had other agendas. They had other things going on. I consider them to be the same thing for all intents and purposes. I wouldn't say I've always been against them, but I've always thought it needed to be changed. What got me active with Dark Horse and what got me active in against men's rights was just I started out as kind of a joke, figured someone should go down there, maybe like see what was up from against men's rights. We definitely knew it best. So that's what got me really active, I guess, was just wanting to be the person who did it. Um, I guess what really makes me dislike them is their tendency to think that they should be taken seriously and that their actions should be taken seriously, but they really they just seem to want an audience and practice in hyperbole. And I think that the men who do have legitimate grievances and men's rightsers who do have things that need to be addressed deserve better than that, than just a bunch of guys who want to create internet drama. So I guess that's why I've kind of focused on Elam and Voice from Undirectly. And I really don't like how they've used Reddit and just a lot of other platforms to kind of consolidate their power and kind of just go within the community, try to make connections, try to get young people involved, and um, just to get an audience, but not to really do anything. And I don't really think this convention is, meant to be like we're going to actually do something either. I think it's a money grab. That really annoys me. One more. What was men's issue that you really wish people would talk about and try to fix? Going back to the prison thing, like definitely that. I really wish they'd focus on prison reform, helping more minority men. It's kind of a white guys movement right now. The Reddit inlet and Reddit focus should have tipped us all off to that, I guess. Yeah, prison crime reform and real change instead of just, um, trying to get on the internet, and also like really helping focus too with like young men, um, and working with and especially with minority men. Like Obama had that, and another men's group had a petition that was meant to focus on getting like young men and boys involved. I think that involved better in like school and the community and get fathers involved. I think that maybe like that would be a better focus and a better issue that they would talk about, rather than like detraction issues such as like um, punishing women for false rape accusations, or accusations that might not be false, just there might not be enough evidence to support it, or that infamous one, financial abortion. They really need to stop focusing on that one. That's a losing issue. I'll tell them that right now. They're not going to win over any conservatives, and most liberals know it's a pipe dream. So, a lot of people said I was awesome. I want to say thank you for that. I've gotten a lot of questions about the financial abortion one. Um, to answer that, kind of go over that. This is what I think about financial abortion. Well, first of all, I don't like the rebranding of the term into paternal surrender. It seems what they want to call that, because financial abortion was a term invented by the men's rights movement groups for it in the early 2000s, with the court case in Michigan that eventually put it kind of on the radar. The Lawsuit one didn't take it to the Supreme Court. Um, See, I mean, it was struck down, so it hasn't gone to the Supreme Court. By all means, if they wanna take it there, they can. But see, I don't. It's a good issue for like wedging young people and kind of getting them in the men's rights movement, because I think we've heard from a lot of young MRAs and even older MRAs that they really fear kind of that being trapped into a pregnancy thing happening. And I mean, it's legitimate, and it is legitimate that men sometimes don't have great access to birth control. But then again, neither do women now. That's not really, like men being discriminated against, because women face a lot of barriers too. That's just, bad education on the US's part, bad education on birth control worldwide. It's gotten a lot better, of course, in some respects, but we still have a long way to go. Another reason I don't think it's necessarily kind of an issue of men being discriminated against or not giving adequate protection is one of the best forms of birth control, actually, like percentages wise, statistics, the best birth control out there is actually a vasectomy. And as uncomfortable as that may be, and I have all the sympathy in the world, God knows my IUD was a pain to get, it's not really discrimination, and it's just like, as far as the plumbing goes, women have more options because their plumbing has more to do with the process of birth, and men's has more to do with the process of ejaculation. So it's that's kind of just the biology of it. I don't really know what to say any more about the discrimination aspect there, other than there's just not a lot of great birth control options for either side. I want to say too, another reason why I think financial abortion is a pretty big losing issue, other than it's a wedge issue. Conservatives are going to hate it, especially social conservatives. Anything that has anything to do with abortion, or making parents less responsible, social conservatives aren't going to like it. Fiscal conservatives haven't said a lot about it. Let's libertarians, or even just called fiscal conservatives, who might not care about the Republican angle. They're probably not going to care about it or want to support it, because if that money isn't coming from the father, it's going to come from somewhere else, and that means everybody else's pocket. So it's going to lead to more poverty, more state assistance being created. I don't think that a lot of fathers' rights groups will support this, support it, or have shown a lot of support, such as Fathers for Justice, or even some within the National Coalition for Men, just because even though they may want to support it in idea, I mean, just in practice, it'll lead to more fatherless children, and I don't think that's a good end goal for anybody. I hope the conference addresses it, because it's one of those issues that the more you talk about it, and the more kind of it gets picked apart, the more unfeasible it seems. I'd like to hear some lawyers weigh in on it too, because the first thing that they're going to want to know is, well, how would we possibly get the Supreme Court to authorize this? If we're going to make it part of states' rights, and we're going to tie it to abortion fairness, what are the states, say a woman can get a abortion up until her, second trimester. That's, some states have that law. Okay, well, does that mean financial abortion is going to be tied to a man can get that until a woman reaches a second term? And for that matter, does that mean that any abortion law will also be a legislation against financial abortion? And for that matter, does that mean that we shouldn't be supporting state involvement or state restrictions on any form of abortion? Because any form of abortion is also a restriction on financial abortion. So I don't know why some supporters of financial abortion say we should leave it up to the states, because that would be bad for them too. So yeah, and like I said, financial abortion, I really don't see how they thought too that we're going to take a medical term and we're going to equate this and tie this into a financial issue. That might have been a misstep, but then again, it was the early mid 2000s, and maybe the branding issue didn't come up yet. Yeah, a lot of people are asking, like I said, about the con. Already covered that. Had a few people ask, contentious believers or followers ask, about the term mansplaining. We should replace it, or maybe it's discriminatory. I wouldn't really say it's discriminatory. I don't know about replacing it. And kind of mansplaining is kind of something a lot of women face. And I'm going to use my e-cigarette here as a dodge. Okay. Whew. And it doesn't always, big cloud, it doesn't always happen with things you'd imagine. Like, I get it in the e-cigarette shop. I'll try to talk to, not the shop owners. Actually, shop owners have been really nice, but I'll try to talk to a guy about, hardware, or, just what flavors, or, what he's vaping or something, and he'll start talking to my boyfriend, or he'll start talking to my fiance, and he won't even talk to me about it. And I'll ask him again, and he'll start talking to him. And it happens sometimes. So it's just, I don't think it's done maliciously. I just think or maybe I'm in work and I go to a meeting and I bring up an issue, and then the guys will start talking about an issue and just kind of wedge me out of it. And there's better examples and there's other examples, but I think it's a term that women use sometimes to explain kind of an unconscious thing that guys sometimes do to just kind of dominate the conversation. Like I said, I don't always think it's malicious, but it does happen. And having a label for that term is kind of useful just for my purposes. If guys don't like it, feel free to coin womansplaining for when girls go off and leave guys out of a conversation. I don't think it'll catch on as well, but go for it. It's not meant to be a discriminatory thing. It's just a useful term to have. As for the term man up, I certainly don't use it. I don't get it. Some other people use it. Sorry? I don't know. I guess we could replace the term man up with something, ovary up. Elbow up! Everybody has elbows. Elbow up. There we go. When you need to be tough, elbow up. I'm coining that right now. Let's use that. What would happen, and oh yeah, the guy who asked these questions too, that was that spot right there. Thank you for asking these. I forgot to mention that. What happens if during the event nothing happens? Okay. Yeah, nothing could happen. There might be, threats against women have already been made. They've been made against me, so don't know what'll happen if no threats are made against women. I hope no other threats are made against women there. I've heard from a few other women who have gotten them. I hope nothing happens to the women on the other side too. I just hope nothing bad happens to anybody. We can all talk, converse, trade of ideas like Salon back with Voltaire or whatever. What if your idea about the men's rights movement is shown to be false? Then it's already been proven right. My idea is that they're kind of contentious, a lot of them woman-hating individuals, so I think I'm right with that. What if no Elliot Rogers types are there? Um, well, I hope there be nobody there wanting to commit a mass murder. I'm saying that right now. I really, really hope no Elliot Rogers types are there. I do think there will be some unpleasant people there, but I hope there's nobody there who's going to commit a shooting. Personally, I'm not going to have any weapons on me, or even the smallest thing. So I hope there's nobody there like that. So that was kind of a weird question to have thrown at me. Um, let's see if I hear what happens if I hear heart-wrenching stories about the plight of men? Will I do a 180? I've already heard some heart-wrenching stories. I had a guy very close to me who was accused, that I believe falsely, um, of sexual assault. The existence of their grievances does not negate anybody else's and doesn't negate mine. Um, and so I'm sure there will be men there with horror stories. And have had bad things happen to them. I think that they're blaming those things on the wrong people, and they're looking to the wrong social movement to fix them. But I certainly feel for them, and I certainly think that they deserve to have their grievances addressed. But like I said, as I've always said, I don't think this is the movement that's going to fix them or going to properly address those grievances. I mean, if they really think that Elam and A Voice for Men are the leaders they're looking for that are going to fix their grievances, then I'd advise them to go through Voice for Men, some of their older articles and archives, and say to themselves, does this group really, can they really lead anybody? Can they lead a social justice movement? Do they have any experience? They can't even manage to set up a nonprofit or run and fund a nonprofit. How could they possibly get a social movement started or address any man's individual grievance? And to any extent, like, certainly they can address it, but can they change it? I would say no. I would say that they need to start seeing their problems addressed as part of a wider social pattern, not in a wider breaking of the social contract, not against like males or white males specifically, part of a weakening social net and problems with the justice system that need to be addressed, and not so much addressed from a like man bashing and like denigrate feminism angle. Because I can tell you right now, if it wasn't like the men's rights movement did nothing for me except for create me, like hours with my father going over this stuff, and how men were oppressed and how women doing this and that, and how they're terrible, like, in his office with him for a while, and going with and being like seeing the men's rights movement, it might have been true what they said like within their world, but in the outer world there's nothing to prove that, which is probably why I didn't stay with it in the longer term. And when I got into the real world and when I got educated, like, probably why it all tended to fall apart. I mean, I can see its attraction to people who are looking for an answer, a way to solve their problems, but it didn't, I don't see it really solving anybody's problems in a wider spectrum, and I don't see it really helping anybody in a wider way. Hopefully maybe the men's rights movement could change or evolve, and it will start moving in the right direction. But I've seen it operate since the 90s, and it hasn't happened by now. Like, something big has to happen, or like the pathology of the group itself and the group think and how it operates. That has to change, because like something at the core, because it hasn't happened by now, it's probably not going to happen. So yeah, there were some other questions. Yes, I'll have to, answer those later, because we're already almost at a half hour there. So yeah, I hope Detroit will go well. I'm really looking forward to it. Going to be meeting up with some interesting people. We'll do like daily updates. Keep everybody posted. And hope everybody has a good night. Once again, this is Dark Horse War. It's really nice talking with everybody, and I guess next time you see me, I will be about 3,500 miles in the center of the country. So, everybody, have a good night once again. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.